Hello everybody, just dropping in to do the readings for the pick of the week cards. So I have used this week the Time Traveller's Oracle. It's a relatively new deck that I found when I went up to the show in London. Absolutely love it. So the whole idea behind it is that it is based on periods of history, and then, you know, there's some words are kind of connected to it. So our very first card for this week is Deliberation. And so what we're looking at here, if this was your card, is there's perhaps some opportunities, some thoughts, some changes that are sort of floating in and around you at the moment, and you need to kind of have a think about what's the best options for you. It can be really, really hard just to kind of find that quiet time to sit and contemplate what's going on around you, but definitely try and find the time this week. So this is going to be perhaps quite a big choice, kind of the feeling I'm getting, but remember, if you can sit and contemplate and try and weigh up all your options, and if you're really, really not sure, call on your spirit teams. You know, they are there. You may not be aware of them, you may not know their names, you may not necessarily know what their calling cards are, but they will be there. You know, we're assigned these guides at birth, so just sit quietly, not necessarily even in a meditative state, but try and sit, just quieten your mind and just ask that question. You know, the answers will come. And as I always say, follow your gut instinct, because it's very rarely wrong. But just remember that whilst it may be quite tricky to see your way out of this, and that those choices and deliberations that you've got to make seem quite hard, you know, there is blue sky and sunlight coming. You will make that transition. You will make that decision. And, you know, whilst we're always going to have hindsight and did I make the right decision, you know, put your faith in yourself. You will make that right decision. So, you know, I know there's a lot of deliberation, there's a lot of thought processes going on at the moment, but this card is just telling you just to sit down a little bit, take that time just to kind of work out exactly what you want to do, not what everyone else around you is kind of telling you to do. So card number 2 is Flow. So this is all about looking at what's in and around you and just letting things flow. I'm really bad at this. I always try and force the hand. I always try and make it happen. But actually sometimes you just need to sit back and let it go. So just think of, like, the analogy with this card is the River Nile. So obviously Egypt is very much structured around the Nile Delta, the actual river itself, purely because of its floodplain. A lot of what's built in Egypt was built originally on the floodplain or around the floodplain, purely because that's where all the agriculture could happen and where all the good things grew. So just remember that whilst letting things flow and letting it ebb is really hard, but actually that's when you're at your most productive. Just let it go, let it flow, and let it just kind of do its thing for you. Like I said, it is really hard, but just trust the process. I think that's probably the best thing I can say. You know, every year, every day, the sea goes out and it comes back in. So just allowing things to flow is genuinely going to be really good for you right now if card 2 was your choice. So just looking at this, I think perhaps, you know, if there are situations around you that you are finding quite hard, just take that step back. Going back to that, almost that deliberation of just sitting there, let it flow. Have your opinions, do what you need to do, but just kind of try and go with the flow a little bit. As I said, it's not in my nature, so I always find this really, really hard. But yeah, that's what this card is saying. Just, you know, look at what's going on around you. Just sit down, let it flow, see where it kind of falls at the end. But, you know, going back to that, the Nile Delta, you know, every year the Nile floods. Every year the fields get fertilized, they get that really good rich soil. Every year the crop is okay. So just bear that in mind. It's going to be okay. Just allow it to flow. And then we're moving on to card number 3. Card number 3 is Chaos. Please do not be worried about this. So chaos can be a situation you're in at the moment. I know certainly the way my brain works that sometimes my life can feel very chaotic, very much full of chaos. But chaos never actually lasts all that long. It can be a small snapshot of your day, of your week. But what this card is popping in to remind you is that if something feels really chaotic around you at the moment, please do not panic. There is going to be bright skies coming. You know, again, if you look at the example here is of Vesuvius. So obviously that was an absolutely catastrophic event for that particular location. And even now, you know, thousands of years later, we're still learning so much from that particular event, that particular snapshot in time, which is what it ended up being. So remember that whilst, you know, it might feel really bad at the moment, you will come out. There will be blue skies. The sun will continue to shine. And actually what this chaotic situation around you is kind of pulling in is a learning experience. And as much as we all want our learning experiences to be really nice and pleasant, sometimes they are quite chaotic and they can involve quite unpleasant situations. But as I said, just kind of acknowledge it. There's very little sometimes we can do to change it, but actually just hold fast. The sun is coming. You will get through this. It will be okay. And as I said, those lessons will be learnt, and they will potentially be lessons that will sort of format your life. So they will be an event that, might change you a little bit, but that's okay. We all find change quite frightening, but actually in this scenario where those sort of chaotic situations happen and you do learn a lesson from it, it's potentially something you're never going to do again. You're going to see that lesson coming or see it happening again and go, nope, been there, done that, got the chaos card, don't want to do that again. So I think very much like the Tower card in the tarot, which is always considered the worst card rather than sort of like the Death card. The Tower is very much kind of everything's falling down around you. Always remember that those situations don't last. It will feel horrendous while you're there, but it will come out. So just remember, don't worry about the chaos. Hold on to that sunlight. It is coming. And remember that all of those lessons that we learn are there and we will grow from that. So I hope that's been really helpful. And if you picked card 3 and you do want to talk a little bit more, I am here. Just drop me a message. More than happy to kind of have a chat and share some of my own life experiences when it comes to things like chaos and learning from lessons, because, we all have them. But I'm kind of going to move the pick of the week to a Thursday, probably. Might sort of Wednesday, Thursday, just because I kind of spread it out a little bit more. But hopefully that's been really, really useful. As I said, this is the Time Traveller's Oracle. It's an absolutely lovely deck. And I promised myself I wasn't going to buy any more until I saw it and decided I have to bring it home. So have a wonderful time. Have a wonderful rest of the week. And I will be back with a few other little chats and a few little bits over the next few days. Have a fantastic day. Thanks very much. Bye.